So I wanted to bring somebody in named Brian Aubuchon.
Good job.
Did I get your name right?
Nailed it.
All right. All right. I'm doing better today. So I wanted to bring some hope to people. There are grants and opportunities out there for businesses that are struggling, and you have a success story that I want people to hear about. So why don't you tell people your story about a special grant that you received?
Sure. And yeah, it's so tricky and so hard out there. My job when we closed our business down, we were forced to close down, was to literally go out and find money. So the traditional methods ran out real fast. So if you're
and you know what? Let's tell people what your business is.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
It does help.
yeah, just a business, any business you can do. I own Holly Lanes Bowling Center over in Holly, Michigan, and like I said, with just like restaurants and everybody else, we were shut down like everybody.
Right.
And the money just runs out. And the state level, there was hardly anything available. At the federal level, there were some programs, but they dried up really, really quickly. And it's frustrating because you check all the boxes you think and you do everything you're supposed to do, and magically there isn't enough for you or your business. And you're going, what the heck is going on? I need it too. Right. And so you have to get creative. You have to find a way. You got to just, like I said, that was my job. My job was to go out and find some money.
Sure. Any
way I could. And one of the opportunities that I saw early on was with Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports. Mm-hmm. In early December, Dave had gone on a rant on Tucker Carlson about how the federal government and the local state economies aren't doing it for businesses. And Marcus Lemonis from The Shark actually challenged Dave. He said, hey, put your money where your mouth is. So Dave put up $500,000 and said, hey, you're going to put up $500,000. Mm-hmm. And then they called all their famous friends. And I want to say they're really close to $40 million raised right now.
Wow.
Last time I checked, it was 37 and change.
Right.
And what they do is they help businesses. So you send them an email and you make a video. Now, I was a little more persistent. I sent them an email every day for 29 days in a row because I just don't give up. And I thought to myself, this is free. This is not costing me any money.
Right.
And I'm not putting forth any real time. I mean, I did it at the end of the night, 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever I went to bed. I always made sure I'm like, send Dave an email. And then, and we were down, we were down to literally 10 days left before we were going to have to close our doors. And I reached out to the community and they were amazing. They came out in droves to help us, but it just wasn't enough.
Right.
It was like pennies when you need tens of thousands of dollars just to survive a month. So when the Barstool Fund reached out to me, they said, we haven't selected you yet. However, we need some more information about your company. I said, well, at least they got my email. And they're like, by the way, we did get your emails. You can stop emailing us. You're good to go. But I felt good about that because, hey, that persistence,
All
never
29 emails, right.
I never gave up on them.
Persistence pays
off.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's basically what they said. And then they got the information and a couple days went by and I said, oh, man, it's not going to happen. But, there's literally tens of thousands of businesses every day that apply. Mm-hmm. So what are the chances?
Right.
And then that fateful night coming up 23 after work. And I got a phone call at about 8:30 at night. I'm like, who is FaceTiming me? And I was like, oh my goodness, there's only one person that would FaceTime me. And then there was Dave. And it was one of those things literally that's all I do is I watch pizza reviews and I watch the Barstool videos. Uh-huh. And to be one of the guys on the Barstool video, it's very humbling because it's just, they do so much for as many people as they can, and you never think in a million years that's going to happen.
Right.
So it gave me some validation saying, hey, you know what? None of this was your fault. You did everything you could. The pandemic is what it is. The economy is what it is. There are still really good people out there. So anybody listening to this, if you're literally at your wit's end and you don't know what to do, there's always something out there. And it sounds cliche, and I always hated listening to podcasts and stuff with people saying that, but it's the truth.
No.
And you can come to my bowling center and I'll talk to you about it and I'll send you an email about it, whatever. If you are persistent enough, if you really, really want something bad enough, I always refer to, I know Tony Robbins didn't quote it, or come up with it, but you burn your boats. If you want the island bad enough, the Vikings used to do that. They go to an island, if they want to take the island, they burn the boats. Mm-hmm. So you're either going to die or you're going to get what you want. And really, that's the mentality in business. Because for 9 years, I put my life into this. I mean, I've invested over $1 million my whole life. I mean, and I'm in my early 40s now. So what am I going to do?
Right.
I mean, I could sell cars, but
well, and when you have a small business, it's your life, and you have family. And it comes down to, what am I going to do?
Yep. How are you going to pay the bills? I mean, I was going to be an Uber driver. I was going to drive for Amazon, and two of the places I couldn't even get hired. They're like, well, you're just going to quit. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to quit. But I need some money right now. Right. And luckily, the Barstool Fund was there. And what they do is they take your bills for the month, and you submit them. They and they're very good. They make sure everything's legit, make sure everything's up and up. And the key to them is you have to be keeping your employees on. Yeah, that was their number one rule, which is great to me.
That's awesome. Right.
My employees stood by me when it was so thin. So to have a little money to give back to them was like the best feeling in the world.
Oh, sure.
Hey, you stuck through me. Here's a little extra. They were like, what is this for? I'm like, because you didn't leave.
Right.
So
loyalty.
Yep. And they do that every month. And it's been 3 months. And they just sent me an email yesterday saying, hey, do you still need some help? So obviously the goal is to get off of they want every business they help to be safe and not have to close. So they told me, hey, if it takes 5 months, it takes 5 months. If it takes 9, it takes 9.
Wow.
That's keep awesome. Sending us, we'll keep helping you. And then my goal is to get off of that, say, okay, hey, we're safe. Go take that money and help somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's definitely a give.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because, while they had the PPP loans and they had all that stuff out there from the government, not everybody, there's just so much need out there that it was hard for people to get through. And I'm assuming you probably didn't get any of that. Yeah, so you were looking for whatever help you could get.
We got very little. Like, it was supposed to be almost 30,000. They gave us 9. I'm going, okay, well, I'm happy for the 9, but I have $25,000 a month just in base bills. How am I supposed to take care of that?
Right.
And then you just got to start. I mean, it was like dumpster diving. I mean, I would go anywhere I could. And I mean, I dressed up like Santa Claus and had people drive through our parking lot to bring their dogs or their kids to socially distance meet Santa. It was actually kind of cool.
Right.
I'm a pretty good Santa, I'm not going to lie. But
you make good on a rough situation.
You got to think outside the box, because there's always a way to do it. Always.
Right. And I know that now they've come out with, if you go to flintandgenesee.org, they have a new grant out there for shuttered businesses that were shuttered. The SBA Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Probably you would qualify for that.
Unfortunately, we don't.
You don't?
No, we don't. But that program is a very good program. And then the SBA just released on April 6th 2 new programs. Okay. One is an extension of the EIDL loan, which went from 6 months. They upped it to 24 months with a cap of $500,000.
Nice.
So that's a significant amount of money. And although you're borrowing it, it's at a very, very low rate, 3.75%, and it's over 30 years. So it's a very manageable rate. And then they also have a new grant, which they just rolled out, and they're reaching out to people where if you submit your 2020 and your 2019 tax returns, you're eligible for a percentage of that loss, depending on the type of business you have. So definitely go to SBA.gov. There are some significant programs there that you don't, and it's not saying we want to circumvent our local banks, but it's direct from the source.
Right.
So you don't have that back and forth with 3 or 4 people getting the water all murky. You have the opportunity to deal right with the source, and you just have to be patient because there's a lot of people. But they get back to you 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't call them because they're not going to have the information you're looking for. You just got to be patient. And in the meantime, get creative. Do those things you need to do to get out there and pay one bill and talk to your lenders and keep it going, because you got it. You'll get there. I did. You will. It's just a matter of persevering.
Yeah. So I want to remind the businesses out there, or people out there that work for business or have a business, or you have a company that you worked for that's been shuttered or struggling, let the owners know that there is help out there. Go to SBA.gov, go to flintandgenesee.org. They have things that come up on there from time to time. I know we had a bunch of businesses that just received some grant dollars from them in Flint Township. So we want to remind people that there is help out there. You just have to look for it. and we'll help you any way we can. You can always contact my office. If you go to flinttownship.org, we have a COVID page that will take you to the SBA or to the state site where they're doing the grants. So we'll help you any way we can. You can call me as well. But we just want you to know that there's help out there. And I wanted to talk about your story of the grants and how you did. And I think that's great. And I think it's wonderful what Dave Portnoy is doing with this. It's amazing.